A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox on a Thursday afternoon, 1 week until the Frozen Four in St. Louis. And we'll be joined in the final segment of today's program by none other than Penn State hockey coach Guy Gadowsky. Of course, the Nittany Lions heading to the Frozen Four for the first time in program history. Very special stuff. Going to be a whole lot of fun. Is your mic working there? We always got to have something to keep us going here. Well, that's not the. Well, if you're on 3, we need 3 up. One thing.
Hello, baby girls.
I
hear you.
Well, yeah, I'm here.
Well, I hear you. I mean, I can hear you through my microphone. I just can't hear myself. Did you mute me, Jeff? How dare you? How dare you, Jeff? Try this one. Hello?
There. All right. We're good. Yep.
See that? Just a little punch in the head.
All right. So
smack around, little smack, little tap. There we go. I can hear myself a lot now. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, Jeffrey. You don't want to hear me talk too much.
So we've got Frozen Four again a week from today getting underway. We've got beloved Buccos on a roll heading into the home opener.
Huge win. Absolutely no love for that.
Taking on the New York Yankees tomorrow. Paul Skeens gives them a chance every time, and every now and then they're going to go ahead and cash in, despite the bullpen's best efforts, and that was the case yesterday as Pittsburgh salvages the final game of the series against the Rays in Tampa, and the Pirates now with a 1-game win streak heading into the home opener against the Yankees ties their longest win streak of the season.
I mean, are they going to go to one-man rotation? I think that they're going to make a playoff run, Jeff.
Might not be a bad idea.
He is. I mean, honest to God. I mean, I'm a Phillies fan, as you know.
Yeah.
He is worth tuning into. He is that good.
He is.
I don't think I remember. I mean, Maddox is unbelievable. Clemens was unbelievable. Scherzer and these guys. I mean, but he is like a combination of them all. He really, truly is. He's got everything. I mean, wow, he's damn good, man.
Yep, he's special.
Yeah.
Very, very special.
So the question is,
while we have him. Yeah,
the question was from some Bucco fans said, would you pay him 10 years right now, $250 million? And the answer is absolutely. You offer him that right there to keep him there for 10 years.
Yeah,
I don't think he would sign it. No offense.
No, and why would you?
Yeah,
and that's going to command much more.
Oh, you mean like that? I think it's because
open market.
I think that he would need more of an assurance that they're going to make some moves and get some better players in there, hitting, fielding, all of that, and other pitchers. I think he would need that.
Oh, that too, which is not going to happen.
And somebody said, well, he's going to play in Pittsburgh. I said, well, you know what? Then Pittsburgh gets an extra $2 million in each contract year for playing in Pittsburgh. And you're going to be on a losing team. That's fine. But, hey, we'll give you an extra $2 million. Is it worth it? I don't know. But he is worth the price of admission to watch him pitch, man.
Yeah. It is a different era that we're living in, and I think it's going to take a while for many of us, yours truly included, to adjust. A couple of announcements from the last 24 to 48 hours. Yannick Conan Niederhauser is making himself eligible for the NBA draft, but keeping the option open that he could return to the Nittany Lions next season. It is a big deal from Mike Rhodes' perspective and from Penn State's perspective, how that ultimately plays out. He, especially with the experience he gained this past season, I think is obviously a big-time difference maker, and you are looking at a roster that right now needs as many big-time difference makers as it can find. This is the only player among the top 5 scorers from last year that has eligibility remaining and could even return. And obviously, if he doesn't, it'll be just a complete rework instead of an almost complete rework of the roster for Penn State from this past season to next.
Are you cool with that rule of him going? What we would say would be the NFL Combine for the NBA.
Yeah.
So he's going to go through all of that, all of the interviews and this and that, and then they're going to project where they are. I like it a lot.
I do too. It makes a ton of sense.
It makes that's what's scary.
I mean, it really does.
I have to ask, is that eligible for football? I don't know. Or at least I've never heard of a guy going through the combine, going through his pro day, going through his player interviews, and then saying, you know what, what college football does is they give you a grade of where they expect you to be drafted. And then you make your decision from there. And then once you make a decision to go, you're no longer welcome back.
Yeah.
Where I'm very impressed and I like the fact that the NBA does that and gives the players the opportunity to say, you know what, I didn't have a great combine, or it's not a good year for players in my position to come out. I'm going to hold off another year.
The other thing that came out, I guess it was yesterday, is Zach Ryder, Penn State wrestler, entering the transfer portal. And just a few things on this. One, got to know Zach a little bit, got to know his dad a little bit, love that family. And just from a personal standpoint, it's like, I get it. Don't begrudge them anything. This isn't anything. Oh, they're not which there are people out there that, listen, a couple of things about this. First of all, Zach is a great kid, great personality. His dad, much the same. Great person, great personality. A lot of fun to be around, and Zach is just wired in such a degree. He's going to be successful no matter where he is and what he does. Now, there's degrees of success, and as we've talked about over the years, there's a little bit of luck for any individual when it comes to winning national titles. So I'm not making any pronouncements or grandiose predictions, but the dude is going to be successful.
Correct.
That's how he's wired. With his personality, with his dedication, with his work ethic, and with his talent, he will be successful. However you want to define that, he is going to be successful. I've had a couple of people reach out to me, and they're like, man, it stinks that Penn State is letting one of their own go to bring in somebody else. And I understand the sentiment as far as it goes. There's just a couple of things about it. And again, it's an adjustment for anybody following college athletics, including yours truly, because this goes back to, like, in the 1970s, right? The Steelers had those great drafts, and it was a team. When the Steelers were winning their 4 Super Bowls in 6 years, it was a team that was overwhelmingly what we'll call homegrown, drafted and brought up. Well, that's the way the teams were constructed back then. It wasn't like an unusual situation. And they're like, well, that's the way the Steelers do it. Well, that's the way they did it until everybody had to. You could keep doing it that way. Well, no, we're not going to sign any free agents. Okay. Good luck with that in terms of staying relevant in any way, shape, or form. It just is not, again, in theory, could you do that even now? Yes. Could you do it and remain relevant and competitive? No, not a chance. And it's going to be the same thing in college athletics. And again, people may be upset about it, may yearn for the good old days or whatever. That's fine. You can do that. I'm just telling you that if somebody wants to come in, and Cale has been very consistent about this, Penn State didn't go out and seek Greg Kirklead and say, Greg, man, you need to come here, get away from Ohio State. We want you to come in and beat out Seth Nevels. Penn State had Seth Nevels. They weren't looking. And Kirklead gets hold of them and says, hey, man, I'd like to come train. And I'm oversimplifying this, but, I know that Kyle Snyder's come to your program. I kind of want to follow him and be involved there. And again, I'm oversimplifying what happened there, and I'm not. But throughout the course of Cale's tenure, it even with the 9.9 scholarships, Penn State was never, hey, we have our guy, nobody else can possibly come in at that way. It's like, well, yeah, if you're a great wrestler, even if you're not a great wrestler, if you're a great kid and you want to come in and compete in our room, we'll do what we can to make that happen. Now, sometimes, again, the scholarship money didn't work out or couldn't be worked out to make it worthwhile. Other cases, again, some kids had, their families were willing to, hey, we'll come and pay X amount and we'll only need this amount of scholarship because we want to be part of this program. We want to be in a place where we can be successful. Well, now with the scholarship changes and the opportunity, why would you turn away a kid who wants to be here and who could be competitive? Even if you think you have the best guy of the last 3 decades, like this is the guy, but there's another guy that wants to come in and he might be the second best guy now at the weight, but he's telling you, man, I want to come in. Well, why would you say, nope, absolutely not? You're looking to build the best roster you can and the best depth. Now, in the process of that, could individuals that are already there, and this happens in pro sports all of the time. It's like, man, we got a great quarterback prospect. We believe this guy could be the future. Well, wait, I'm the starting quarterback. Well, I want you to trade me, and you can make the demands, and you start the talks and all of that. Again, like it or not, this is the reality of college sports the way it is. And as coaches and programs, again, you can, man, the our kid thing is just, I understand the sentiment. I understand what you're saying. And also, there's not a coach out there that if a Rocco Welsh comes to that program, Max McAnally at Minnesota right now is the presumed man to beat next season. Sure. But you have Angelo Ferrari, Zach Ryder, Rocco Welsh. But so, Iowa, they have Angelo Ferrari penciled in at 184. Well, if Rocco Welsh goes to Tom Brands and says, Tom, man, I really want to come in, and I think I can even beat out Ferrari. I want to be the guy, or I want the opportunity. Tom Brands is not sitting there saying, no, Ferrari's our guy.
So they have to make an assumption right then and there of who would beat who.
No, that's not even no. You don't, because of the scholarship opportunities that are available now. You can provide scholarship opportunities, NIL opportunities. Now, can a kid, all right, man, I see this guy coming in, and I've seen some stuff, and I'm just telling you, this is also unfair, where people are like, man, I thought Zach had more belief in himself, and he could beat. Well, first of all, again, there are a lot of things that factor in. I don't know what all factored in here to the decision, and I haven't even seen the writers confirm this. I'm presuming it is right. Again, it's being reported all over the place that he's entering the transfer portal. But another component here is, all right, at Penn State, and I'm completely making up the numbers, but let's just say at Penn State, you get the scholarship and you have $100,000 it's going to be that you can procure for NIL money over the course of the next year. Man, that's fantastic. And then you hear through the rumor mill, or a friend of a friend, or you're just reading online, Well, this school is out there offering, man, they want somebody that could come in and they'd be willing to pay 3 times that. Well, come on, man. It can't be just about the money. Okay. The job that you're at right now, whatever it is, and I'm presuming most of us are in a similar boat where we're making money to get by, most of us, but not, maybe a little different if you're a multimillionaire and all of that. But even then, somebody comes in, whatever job you have, and you're really happy there. Man, I love my boss. I love my coworkers. This is a great situation. I want to be here the rest of my life. I love the pension program they have set up. This is wonderful. Awesome. And then a friend of a friend said, hey, by the way, Byers, if you move to, think of a Columbus, dude, there is a radio station in Columbus that is willing to pay you 5 times what you are earning right now. You really think I'm going to sit here and say, nope, I won't even consider it. Not going to talk to them. I don't want to explore that opportunity.
Where's your loyalty, Jeff?
At all. I mean, that is.
Where's your loyalty?
Absurd.
Yes.
Right? On its face, it's absurd. Anybody in their right mind would say, well, yeah, you got to at least listen to the offer. And in this particular case, and again, this is a general, I'm not talking here specifically about Zach Ryder or Rocco Welsh or any of these other situations that are out there. I'm saying in general, you have a 5-year window. Basically, we're back to that now. 5-year window for 4 years of competition. Why would you not try to leverage the opportunities that are there for you into the most advantageous situation you can get for you and your family? Like that, I mean, why would you not do that? That would be insane to not do that.
And
now,
why
does that necessarily mean that, you automatically go to the highest bidder? No, but I'm saying that what reasonable person is that not part of the consideration? Now, again, maybe I look at it and say, yeah, I don't know if I fit in with that coaching staff as well. That money does look attractive, but you know what? This is good money here. I know this situation. So it's not going to be the same for everybody. It also is going to depend in part on the financial component of your family's background. Well, my family's middle class. We're doing okay. Well, you might not have the pressure. If you are coming from poverty and somebody's dangling $100,000 here, you're like, man, that is awesome. And then somebody says, hey, $500,000 over here. Well, yeah, I think I might go have a long talk with that individual.
It is a huge difference in the two sports. I'll even add that wrestling is set different than the other sports. And that is that you can go, like, say you're shopping and you go to the highest bidder. Okay, you as a football player, Akron comes out of nowhere and says, I'm going to give you $5 million.
Right.
But wrestling, you can go to Akron and you could physically win a national title for yourself as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Now with football, basketball, baseball, all the other sports, it is a team game. And that is where a lot of issue is like, okay, you're going for the money, but you're not going to win anything. Where you understand what I'm saying? Wrestling there is the team atmosphere aspect to it, but it's still, in the end of it, it is an individual sport.
Yeah.
And there is a big difference. I mean, are people still thinking of, I sometimes do it, I think of all sports being run like football, and then that's not how wrestling is run. Wrestling is a whole different entity in that way, because it's not really a team sport. Because there is individual national championships involved.
Yeah, and I am assuming, and I don't know that I'm right about this, but I am assuming that this is, like, we've been talking for a while. I think wrestling is very quickly, and listen, people could probably rightfully argue, well, it's been this way for decades. Where you have a very small group of haves and a bunch of have-nots trying to chase them down. I think it's even going to be more pronounced now because the resources that are available and the commitment at schools like Oklahoma State, Iowa, and Penn State, even at schools like Ohio State and Michigan, which have very good resources and are pretty committed to wrestling. They're not in the way that at the moment Oklahoma State, Iowa, and Penn State are. Now, again, could you get a big donor into a given program that could make a difference there? And are there other programs that certainly do have some resources, like Minnesota, Ohio State, Michigan? I think Virginia Tech has made a pretty good commitment. Seems like Arizona State has made a pretty good commitment, but there's going to be, and probably already is, but there's going to be a very clear delineation in the coming years between, all right, well, these are the real players in the sport. My question, I just don't have I have what I think I know, but I don't have the confidence that I do in wrestling. I am presuming, though, that this is going to be largely the case across the board when it comes to the non-revenue or Olympic sports, where there are, you have a big lacrosse donor at, and I don't know this, but like Maryland has a great tradition in lacrosse. I am assuming that there's going to be resources there. UConn with women's basketball. Again, you're going to have just pockets here and there of teams and programs, in part because of tradition and history and just the local support, but also if you have the big money donors or donor that's like, yep, man, we're going to make this happen. We want to be either remain or be the team to beat, or one of the teams that's in the mix every year in Sport X. I just don't think you're going to have a lot of that in many of these sports, probably almost all of these sports. And what I still just wonder about is, all right, in 10 years, in 5 years, do the folks that aren't the Oklahoma States, Iowas, and Penn States say, you know what, we're going to take our chips and go elsewhere and either form another separate.
You have
division?
said the Olympic, the was it the Ivy League model? You've been saying that for 4 years, bro.
Yeah, and that's I think there could be something in between there.
I agree with you on that part. Yeah,
but I don't know exactly how that gets set up, because the one thing you can't do right now legally is tell your student athletes that, all right, we're capping your earnings potential at X amount in order to compete at this level. So like even now, in theory, you could have a star quarterback at a Division II school making $1 million a year if there's a donor at that Division II school that's like, yeah, man, we want you to come in. You can lead our team to a championship rather than compete with all of these bigwigs, and you're going to make the same money. Now, the same overall resources not going to be available there, but again, for a star player or two, and could that be the difference maker in some of those other divisions? You bet. So I'm still just very, very curious about how all of this plays out. But for those that are worked up that Penn State isn't showing loyalty, or the kids aren't showing loyalty, or this and that, we are just in a different world.
Yes, we are.
And you can yearn for the good old days. I can yearn for the good old days. The coaches can yearn for the good old days. That's fine. They're not coming back. And truthfully, we can debate about how good they were, as we've talked about. What really the issue is, in my mind, is that we went from one extreme, and it was extreme, and it was not right, where you had a coach that could basically hold a kid hostage.
True.
Hey, coach, I'm miserable here. I don't like your.
But that also wasn't a bad thing.
I don't like your. I don't like the school. I'm homesick, I'm all of this, and the coach could say, well, I mean, you can transfer, but not to anywhere in our league, and you got to sit out a year.
No.
And I'm going to fight you on
cut
it
you
and
right there.
make it even more difficult.
The old man held it over our heads. But in the same breath, every one of my guys I talked to, every one of my teammates, every one of my friends, we all said we would have transferred at one point or another. Every Division I, every player goes through that in any sport. But the coach has your best interest at heart by saying, hey, it's probably not the right decision. Now, I know what you're saying.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yes.
But there are also the people that say you're not transferring, you're not allowed. And then there was, when I was playing in the Big Ten, you were not allowed to transfer to another Big Ten school.
Right.
And if you did, well, I mean, that's not the worst part. The worst part is you had to sit out a whole year.
Yes.
And that's what was the detriment of transferring. Yeah. And when that went away, it just became a free-for-all, in my opinion. Like, you could just go semester to semester and start playing somewhere.
So we went from that extreme,
exactly.
and I think that was I don't think that was right. I hear what you're saying, and
I know
I'm all
and
for
that was wrong.
The benefits of sticking it out. Also, you did have situations where kids were clearly miserable. It wasn't going to get better, and you had coaches. My opinion, wrongly not preventing them from being able to transfer.
I agree.
And
yeah, I mean, like I'm looking at a guy like Quinn Ewers who went to Ohio State. We all break his chops because he made $4 million, didn't take any snaps, didn't play at all, and then he goes back to Texas. You know what he said? He goes, I'm a Texas boy. I miss Texas. It wasn't anything to do with him not playing or this. He just was homesick. He missed being in Texas. And Columbus, Ohio versus Texas is a big difference in the way of life. I have no problem with that. None. Now, back in the day, he may have been locked in there and said, hey, Quinn, by the way, you want to go to Texas, you're either paying for your scholarship and you're going to miss all of next year. That was what's kept people here.
So we went from the extreme there, and also the extreme of what was the famous one that you can't put cream cheese on that bagel on the recruiting visit. It's like, for the love of God, like, can we not be completely unreasonable?
Hey, speaking
on some of the recruiting rules and what. And again, Joe Paterno talked about it, and I know there were ways around it, but the basic rule was, and it was a lot of bureaucratic paperwork to get somebody, like if you had a kid from California and, hey, my aunt that I was really close to passed away, the school couldn't just, hey, we'll pay for your flight and come back.
Crazy.
Now, in some cases you could get that done. It wasn't like just boom, hey, let's do the right thing here. This kid doesn't have money. His family doesn't have money. This is a awful circumstance. Let's help them out. To go back, I just had a discussion with somebody today. The lack of leadership and vision by the NCAA is really just astounding when you sit back and really think about it, because if they had just listened to the Joe Paternos of the world and said, oh, you know what, you're right, we're making all of these millions of dollars, we should be providing a stipend to the players, a couple of $100 a month to cover some of the expenses. Let them, Joe Paterno was all, let our kids go buy a pizza,
go on a date,
and hang out with some of their friends. And some of the players weren't able to afford that. Well, that is, and then you turn around and you go down and, well, there's the bookstores downtown selling hundreds of my jersey. Well, that is right. I mean, I think we can all agree. You sit down and look at that, and it's like, well, that is.
You're stealing me and Landon's shtick right now with the old school and new school, because he is completely baffled by that. When I would be like, bro,
as any reasonable person should be.
We were allowed to have breakfast at Pollock Commons with the regular students and this and that. So we had regular breakfast. Your lunch had to be at Pollock Commons, and then your dinner was at our dining hall in Pollock Commons. So there's your 3 meals, but you're not there all day. You might be on campus 7 hours.
Right.
And then you got to walk to practice, and you're going to swing by. Hey, let me grab a quick sandwich at the hub. That's out of your pocket, bud. The scholarship money you have on your meal plan Does not include any of that. You cannot use your points at any other places than Pollock Commons. He just is completely blown away by that. And I'm like, it's just the way it was.
As well, he should be. It is.
And then,
insane when you say it out loud.
Yes, but then looking at it back in the day, it was just like that was what it was expected. And it was like, hey, whatever. Because if I have told you this or not, because I may have, and I'd sit there and I say this to my wife, and it sounds like she's like, you sound like a little crybaby right now. I mean, you guys were taken care of very, very well. And I'm like, yeah, to the extent of what we could get.
Yeah.
We were in the apartments, which was great. But you know what? We never got, and this is what, I guess looking back at it 30 years later, and this is what she said. This is when she says, you sound like a crybaby right now. And I would say this, is that just like now, football funds every sport.
Yep.
All of them. Basketball excluded, obviously, with the money they make. But, okay. Like, football players were never like, hey, buddy, hey, guys, thank you very much for doing this. You know what I mean? It was always just like, no. It was expected of us to not be like, hey, don't be mad. You have to fund, that you fund this or fund that. That's just the way it is. And we didn't think anything other than that. And then Carrie's like, well, from what you say about Joe, he probably didn't want you to guys feel like, we deserve this or we deserve that. He wanted to keep us down a little bit because he didn't want to get us fat headed, is what he would say. And, it was part of what it was. It was the decision you made. You got your scholarship paid for and all that. And that was the biggest thing. You get your scholarship paid for. That's what they always hung that by. But like, now we're going to go into the profit sharing. And then you look back and say, what the hell were they making then? What were they making back then? And they didn't have to pay the players. They didn't have to do this and all that. I mean, where was all that money? Where did that money go? I know it's a little bit bigger now with the TV structures and stuff like that. But there was a lot of money back in the day, bro. But now they got to share with the teams, with the athletes, which I'm, wholeheartedly behind. But where were we, like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when they were making this kind of money, where did that money go? I don't know.
Pockets of a lot of
and then we're doing a $700 million addition to the stadium. That probably would have been nothing to sneeze at 20 years ago, because it was like, oh, well, we could put $100 million we made them last year in the athletic department. Now that $100 million is going to athletes and stuff like that. So now it's like, whoa, it's a lot of zeros being thrown around out there in a lot of different places. And you have to go back and look at it. You have to think to yourself, what the hell, how many zeros were we making back in the day? And, again, I had the conversation and with Landon, and I was like, oh, you guys have Pell Grants now. And they're like, oh, they got rid of that. I looked that up, and that got completely abused. There were schools that completely abused that, because you said about the emergency travel and stuff like that. So we had stuff called the Pell Grants for guys that, Joe wanted us to travel. We never traveled in anything other than suit and tie. Yeah. And I played with guys who didn't have suit and ties. I remember my first weekend here as a freshman. I think 4 guys on the team wore my sport jacket. I had a blue blazer. 4 guys have the same shirt and tie and coat on. They're not going to name names or anything like that, but obviously there were larger people that were my size that they didn't have one of them. And then it was like, well, how do they, and then they had a fund for that type of thing, but it was always like, wow, why can't they just, like, why, what was the problem? And it was strictly greed. And it was not a Penn State thing. It wasn't a Joe Paterno thing. It wasn't a Penn State administration. It was an NCAA thing where they just gobbled up all the money. And I would love to know where all that money went. And I know that there's a lot more zeros to it now. It was a long time ago, but there was still some pretty big numbers being thrown around back then.
For sure. Just crazy to think about that. Again, I think why everything is so jarring now is, again, we went from the one extreme to the other, where, all right, kids just
sounds like something like a political
we're
thing.
doing every impediment we can to allowing them to move, to now there's no impediment to them moving. We went from you can't get cream cheese on your bagel for a recruiting visit.
I got one.
Hey, here's hundreds of thousands of dollars before you even have a practice on our campus. Like we went from one extreme to the other, and it's jarring to everybody. And eventually, this is going to settle down to some degree. We don't know how or how much that is going to settle down and what it's going to look like. But that's going to be the next step now in the process is, all right, where is this and how much, quote unquote, middle ground is there in terms of where this thing ultimately shapes up?
I have a couple other stories for you that will just blow your mind. That spring of 1990 blue-white football game, I came up here, I'd be considered a high 4-star recruit type of thing, top 15 player in the state of Pennsylvania, a big recruit.
Yep.
Hey, you want to come to the spring game? Hey, there's a buffet before. It's going to cost you $6. I know that was bare bones. $6, and we got a great dinner. But it was like I'm on my. I'm not. It was not an official visit. They could pay for your official visit. So my mom, dad, and Fitzy came with me, and Johnny Butler came with me. So the 6 of us, we had to pay $36. I couldn't even get a free buffet as a top recruit in the country. And then think about the official visits. You were like, hey, Florida State. I visited Florida State. I had a plane ticket going down there to the Florida State-Florida game in December of 1990. Yes. If my mom and dad wanted to go, they had to pay for their own airfare. Like it's like they're like, we can't go on this trip. It's December. It's right after Thanksgiving. The tire business is pretty big, putting snow tires on. So my father's like, I'm not getting out of there. So I went down on an official visit without my mom and dad to Florida State, without anybody, no one. And that was because my mom and dad would have had to come out of pocket if they wanted to visit a college with me that was recruiting me and offering me, to the point now where we have kids that are in high school saying, if you want me to visit your school, it's going to cost you $50,000 to visit.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It's the complete left to right, right to left, just like.
And if there had just been, again, a little vision, a little forethought, some leadership by the NCAA, none of this stuff, it just would have been. It would have started as, maybe $100 a week, maybe $50 a week stipend.
Yep.
And then, yes, over the years, I don't know exactly what it would have evolved into by now, but they could have avoided all of this because nobody would have brought these lawsuits if they were getting it. When I say nobody, I'm talking about the players, the student athletes. I mean, what has been the impetus for all of this was, student athletes saying, wait a second, and going to the court saying that they're using my name, image, and likeness. I'm not signing off on it, and I'm not getting anything for it. This is outrageous. And the courts are like, well, you can't legally do that.
And I think that started with the jersey sales. And then if you remember, the NCAA said, okay, you're allowed to have 2 numbers that you can print every year. No more specific actual numbers. That was what I had heard back in the, but like, there again.
But if you had just started with the
when we talked about before the NIL,
this up. It's like, oh man, we're getting
before the NIL. If you had just given a football player, and this is extreme, or an athlete, I don't want to say football player, but I always speak in football term. I'm sorry, a scholarship athlete, and to a football program, because obviously wrestling is different because there's partials and there's no money in there from. So I don't know. I don't like speaking for the wrestling, but if they had just given each guy a $10,000 check a month, which they're already giving them $5,000 a month right now, but in the above and beyond scholarship money, which is going to go away with the profit sharing. But $10,000 a month is $120,000 for a college kid. That's more money than our parents were making back in, I can't imagine anybody in this team's fares, maybe 10, 15%, hope maybe, high, maybe, but $120,000. I mean, and then why? Why was that? That would not have been an issue. And then they wouldn't have had to do the NIL stuff. They wouldn't have had to do the profit sharing, in my opinion. It was, again, forward thinking with some kind of like a sense of not having no greed. It's mind blowing how this could have been all fixed. And it's like people are saying, oh, when the profit sharing starts, this NIL stuff, it's going to calm down. No, it's not. They're still going to be pay for play.
Sure.
Yeah, and they're going to say the quarterback, you're going to get $5 million. Okay, that's different than profit sharing. That's an NIL deal and this and that. So nothing is going to change.
Yeah, the
players are going to get more money. The lesser known players are going to get more money. Yes, awesome. It would have been. And then to go back to my point when we first started the show, would have been back in the day is if you complete your first 1 year, played on a varsity football team, you stayed eligible, this and that. There's a $50,000 check for you. Okay, and then pay them some money, and then when they do graduate, when you fulfill your time and fulfill your obligation to Penn State University, who paid for your education, by the way, there's a $250,000 annuity check for you upon your day you graduate from Penn State. That's a pretty good damn way to get out and into the real world. Like, yeah, it shouldn't have been this hard. It should not have been this hard. And then I have a question about wrestling real quick.
Yeah.
So are they allowed to wrestle on like visits? If you're not committed here, like say there's somebody in the transfer portal and they come to Penn State, are they allowed in the room?
Yes.
To wrestle around and all?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're pretty much doing a tryout.
Well, I don't.
To an extent.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know that you're really getting a gauge for somebody. I mean, you might get a little bit of a feel, I guess, but well, pretty hard.
We're talking about that now. So real quick.
Yeah.
We weren't even allowed to be even in like height and weight when you were visiting Penn State or visiting colleges back in the day. Yeah. You couldn't, you had to go to camp to get all of that. You weren't allowed to work out with the team. You weren't allowed to do anything with the team, like physical wise and stuff like that. And like, come on, man. Yeah. Again, common sense. Just none of it. It's just crazy, man.
In the NCAA.
Stupid.
We're coming right back. More of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here from Quaker Steak.
There's only one dealer in Happy Valley that always goes to the mat to get you the best deals. It's Lion Country Kia.
Hi, this is Penn State wrestler Mitchell Messenbrink. Lion Country Kia has been serving Happy Valley for 15 years now. They helped me purchase my new Kia, and they would love to help you too.
Lion Country Kia is waiting for you with 85 vehicles in stock and ready to go. Choose from 13 2025 Kia Sportages and 16 2025 Kia Serenos with financing as low as 3.49% for 72 months or total savings of over $4,000. And of course, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Let us go to the mat to get you the best deals. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Dropable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
Hi, Welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
The Fox, your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America. 98.7. The Fox, State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
Back here on a Thursday afternoon as we head into a busy little sports weekend. And, of course, 1 week from tonight, the Penn State hockey team will be in the Frozen Four out in St. Louis. Nittany Lions will be taking on Boston University in the national semifinals. That'll be an 8:30 face-off. You can listen for that game, by the way, right here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox next Thursday. And if, or should I say when, Penn State advances to the championship game a week from Saturday night, we'll have that game for you as well at 7:30. And we will be talking with Guy Gadowsky, head coach of the Penn State hockey team, coming up at about 3:30 here this afternoon at Quaker Steak and Lube. Lots to talk to him about. Looking forward to that conversation in less than 45 minutes from right now.
Yeah, I mean, you've interviewed Guy before, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's I don't know how to explain it, but he might be the easiest human being I've ever met to root for. Like, he's just a good freaking human being. He's just a really, really good dude, like a good guy, man. So I watched his Butcher Gross interview the other day, and Guy and I we've been tight for, things since he got here. I had a good relationship with Joe Batista and got to know Guy a whole bunch, and he was always enamored at my hockey knowledge from back in the day, and more specifically the slap shot thing.
Yeah.
Love the fact that I knew everything about slap shot and this and that. So everything I send him, it has a slap shot thing to it, a ring to it and stuff like that. But he's from Western Canada, and I played in Saskatchewan, so that meant a lot to him. But I lived up there for a whole 6 weeks, man. The guy, I lived in your world for 6 weeks, brother. So when I had my old radio shows back in the day, he'd come on, but I would not. I mean, he will do it today. Just so you know, don't be alarmed, head. I make him not wear his tooth. He has a missing tooth from hockey days back in the day. So he will do the interview today with no tooth. And he will come in. He won't even wear it coming in here, I guarantee you. He'll probably say it's in the car, Goon. He goes, I know you're going to make me take it out, so I don't want to lose it. So,
you don't want to lose that.
Absolutely love him. Again, such an easy guy to root for and stuff like that. I mean, to go back with a slap shot. So I texted him after the game the other day. I said, dude, it was a picture of a slap shot. I was like, I'm so proud of you. Puff that chest out. You saw this 15 years ago. Same thing I said to Joe Batista. And, I don't have Mr. Terry Pagula and Kim Pagula. I don't have their information. Otherwise, I said the same thing to them. And that was, this is what you guys were thinking of 15, 20 years ago. This is your vision has come true. We're going to the Frozen Four. And Guy writes back, I said, be proud, congratulations. And he goes, the kid who scored the goal, he bought his toys on the trip, like the Hanson brothers, like when they were like playing cars. So I guess the kid, they a lot of them bring their gaming systems, and they play in the hotel rooms. And he's like, he bought his toys, just like the Hanson brothers and this and that. Yeah. And I was like, man, he just gets it. So I mean, we got to bust his chops a little bit. So I will say it. I'll start it. So he was supposed to come on at 3:00 today, but he called and said, listen, I'm sorry, I apologize, but the NHL Network, I have an interview at 2:45. I said, come on, dude. Really? So I'll get on him a little bit today. And because he is a classic locker room type of guy where it's still so funny. It's still like, the ball, whatever we're talking about, the busting that goes on in the locker room. It's so funny because in hockey, those dudes are crazy to begin with, and he's just so fun about it. And I'm very much looking forward to this interview. So,
yeah, it should be a whole lot of fun. Again, that'll be coming up about 3:30 here this afternoon. And
I did some research.
Yeah.
He has been to a lot of places, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Lived coaches in Alaska, Oklahoma, Princeton before he got here.
Yeah.
He's just such a he's gonna be it's gonna be a great interview. If you got a chance, come on down. If not, make sure you tune in at 3:30 for it. So
yep, a whole lot of fun. Also, just a couple of programming notes. The Jed Donahue again has been in the hospital shooting for a return to the airwaves here on Saturday. Hoping that happens and looking forward to having Jed back on our airwaves. But Fox Sports will follow our program today at 4 in the meantime. But hopefully next week we're back to the normal schedule with the Pennsylvania Sports Network and having Joe Lednowski on from noon to 2 and then Jed from 4 to 6. Of course, Joe's been there this week as well. And then that Saturday show that normally airs 8 to noon. Now, caveat here is depending on the weather, but as of now, the plan for Saturday is that we will carry most of 3 games of the Center County Hardball Classic up at Medler Field at Lebrano Park. It'll start with Bald Eagle area and Bellefonte in high school baseball action at 9 a.m. and then State College and Mifflin County will square off at noon. We'll have both of those games, weather permitting, on Saturday. Then we will not have the consolation game due to our coverage of the Pirates and the Yankees. I have a quick note about that in just a moment. But we will then, once the Pirates-Yankees game concludes, again, presuming it goes on as scheduled, weather dependent, then we'll join that championship game of the Hardball Classic, which will feature the winners of the 9 a.m. and 12 noon game. So potential for 2 Center County teams to be there, but at least one will be in that championship game. We'll join that game in progress again once the Pirates-Yankees game wraps up at PNC Park. So we're in a group text yesterday going back and forth on the proud Pirates bullpen and any chance that they actually hang on and win this game and help Paul Skeens out. And lo and behold, they ended up doing that. Thankfully,
they got him an insurance run twice, thank God, because he needed it the second time.
Yeah, they needed Holderman out of the game, got him out after he got him out even. And so they do prevail. But I throw out there, I'm like, you know what? I would set the over-under on Yankees home runs this weekend at 10.
They're not going to get Skeens.
10.
They're not going to get him. Oh, Lord.
And even as I'm writing it, I'm like, that might be a little low. And pretty quickly, almost immediately, Horse says, I'll take the over. Yen? I said, yep, let's. So we got a beer on it.
3 games.
I have, yes, I have the Yankees. If the Pirates pitching staff, and by the way, I'm not optimistic that I'm going to win this particular bet, but if the Pirates can hold the torpedo-batted Yankees to 10 home runs or fewer, I get a beer. If the Yankees hit at least 11 in the 3-game series at PNC Park, the Deer Horse will get a beverage.
Should have gone 10 and a half. You should have got the extra.
Truly. And
none of these pushes.
It is, well, here is the thing. We didn't specify, like, what if there's a rain out or two?
You're playing
technicality. So I have.
It's the game in Pittsburgh. The game's in Pittsburgh.
Yep, home opening weekend for the beloved Pirates. So,
any chance how does the this is off the subject, but how do the Yankees travel to Pittsburgh?
Well, they travel well everywhere.
I mean, because I know Philadelphia, people are like, dude, we're going to go to the Pirates game in Pittsburgh, and I'm like, dude, it's one of the best stadiums I've ever been to.
Yeah, the Citizens Bank won the best ballpark in the USA Today survey. And
it's pretty tough to get the freaking tickets.
4th.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great.
Pennsylvania has 2 of the best 4 ballparks, and one of the best teams in baseball.
So when the let's thank the 5 counties of eastern Pennsylvania for all that tax money that was
there you go.
Embezzled.
Just well spent.
No, but to go back to the baseball classic at Medler Field.
Yeah.
Bald Eagle area and Bellefonte were state champions or state runner-ups last year, right? That's a hell of a game. I mean, that has been a heck of a game the last couple of years.
Yes. Now, Bald Eagle area, I will say, lost.
Okay, they were very senior laden.
A ton of talent. They're coming back to earth a bit this year. They had a really remarkable, really 3-year run, but the last 2 were just spectacular.
Well, see, that just leads me into what what we always talk about. And there's a classic example of a team like a Bald Eagle area who goes into the state playoffs and probably plays a Catholic or a private school, and they might not even compete. Like we're watching basketball. When we were watching the basketball this past weekend, there was like 9 of the 12 that won were private, and of the boys and girls were private or Catholic schools. Well, I guess Catholic schools are considered private. So I don't like it because there's like a Bald Eagle area. It's like a generational thing that they have this group of core of guys that have grown up together.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying Bald Eagle area because that's like the closest. It could be Bellefonte, it could be State College, it could be like my buddy in Beaver Falls, Black Hawk High School. It's like you grow up with these guys, you win all these games. You guys are a great football team, you're a great baseball team, you're a great basketball team. Yeah. You do everything you need to do, and you go up against a team that has 5 Division I football players, and you lose by 40 points in the state title. There's a little bit of bad taste in your mouth the rest of your life.
Yeah, and none of those 5 are like
they're not local. Yeah, they're not local to the unit to that high school.
Yes,
and and people are like, "Oh, well, you're from one of them." I'm like, "We're playing in the rules." I mean, that's what LaSalle High School, St. Joe's Prep, all the private schools in Philadelphia. I get it, but that's the rules that they're giving right now. That's the rules that we're playing by. So I understand that aspect of it because I'm from a private school at LaSalle. So they're like, well, what are you complaining about? I'm like, you can recruit from anywhere. I'm like, yes, they can get anybody from anywhere. That's the way it is. And I don't appreciate it. I don't think it's fair, to be on my soapbox right now because you could have this local town have a generational year and have 4 or 5 guys that are like, wow, we're never going to replace these guys. And they go and win, go to state titles and they lose by. It's sad. It stinks. There should be 2 titles in each. I'm sorry. You're going to agree.
Completely agree.
Now, with that said, though, but it's like I hate when people get mad at a LaSalle or St. Joe's Prep because of what they're doing and stuff like that. When in fact, it's just the rules. Well, and I always say to you, people weren't complaining when Pittsburgh Central Catholic and Erie Cathedral Prep were destroying people and Allentown Central were killing people, but they were playing within the rules. But I just, I'm going to have the anti-Philadelphia bias in the PIAA. So that is what it is.
Understood and not unreasonable, by the way. I would submit.
Highly psychotic, but it is what it is.
No, I do think that, and at least in some of the sports, I think you could then have for the fun of it. I think having I think the term they want to use in the proposed legislation is boundary schools, which is fine, which means, again, just your local school districts, you're not recruiting athletes in. Now, there's always the gray area there where, family moves into a school district that happens to have a great wrestling coach. And that has been an ongoing issue. And I don't know that the PIAA has necessarily handled that well over the years either. But I do think you could then have your boundary schools and your non-boundary schools have their separate championships. And then go ahead and a week after that, go ahead and have a kind of a fun exhibition, if you will, between those teams. I think that would be fun. And I think very rarely would you see the public, but every now and then you would have, but I think, you would have the public school,
I like that idea.
The boundary school win. Again, it wouldn't be, they would already have their state championships. This would be an exhibition.
That's a great idea.
Now, one of the issues there, and the reason it would have to be an exhibition is where you have multi-sport athletes. You may have some guys that, no, I'm ready. I'm into baseball and or track and field or whatever it may be. and fine. Obviously, you're not going to put, but I think if you did it on a Saturday, or if you could do it on a Sunday, and say, hey, try to leave this open with your baseball schedules or something. I think it would be achievable.
I like that idea. And then, even going into the playoffs, they let the schools know, like, hey, this is a possibility. Are you willing to,
and you could do it across, with wrestling and even with football. Again, football would be trickier just because of the time of the year, one. And again, you're already in. Those guys are already down usually 2 or 3 weeks in whatever winter sport, whether it's basketball or wrestling. So that might be more difficult. That might not be feasible. Yeah, that might not be feasible. But I think with some of the sports,
basketball would definitely be an option. It's not that hard to get it going.
Yeah, and I think wrestling would for sure be possible. I'd have to sit down and think. I don't know what all would and wouldn't be possible, but I think where you could, it would be.
I'm just in my mind, I'm thinking, why not have it here?
Well, why not have everything here?
Well, listen, that's a story for another show there, Bubba.
Opinion. Yes, indeed. All right, we'll take a break here. We're back with more. It's the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fall.
There's only one dealer in Happy Valley that always goes to the mat to get you the best deals. It's Lion Country Kia.
Hi, this is Penn State wrestler Mitchell Messenbrink. Lion Country Kia has been serving Happy Valley for 15 years now. They helped me purchase my new Kia, and they would love to help you too.
Lion Country Kia is waiting for you with 85 vehicles in stock and ready to go. Choose from 13 2025 Kia Sportages and 16 2025 Kia Sorentos with financing as low as 3.49% for 72 months or total savings of over $4,000. And of course, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Let us go to the mat to get you the best deals. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drybowl Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future. offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again,
Your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
We are back here on a Thursday afternoon in the Valley of Happiness. One more Gadowsky Less segment, and then Guy Gadowsky joins us here at the bottom of the hour, and we'll talk all things Frozen Four and Penn State hockey with the Nittany Lions head coach. Looking forward to that discussion. Coming up again, no Jed Donahue this afternoon, so we'll join Fox Sports at 4 o'clock. And, of course, no Pirates today. We're grateful for the small favors from time to time. The Buccos will have their home opener against the Yankees tomorrow. The torpedo-batted the New York Yankees. Boy, that is a...
I hope that guy's ready to get deluged right now. But
he already has been.
But how many people use wooden mats?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it is going to be all of the rage for sure this summer. You're going to see more and more teams. It will be interesting to see, one, if there's any reaction by Major League Baseball to this next year in terms of rules adjustments. But also, right, we're all going to be watching for how much of an increase, is there an increase? Let's start there. And then how much of an increase with the players who do opt for the torpedo bats compared to, let's say their last couple of seasons, how many additional home runs, and do you end up attributing that solely to the torpedo bats, or so I don't know. There was interesting discussion going on Fox Sports Radio here the last few days about this, and there's just not enough of a sample size. Like everybody is drawing the correlation. It could be just a coincidence that this is a team that was expected to hit a lot of home runs to begin with. Like they have big bats in that lineup. Milwaukee does not have what you would call a stellar pitching staff this season. So that combination was played in the Yankees' favor anyway. Now, it was ridiculous, the numbers put up, and then you start learning more and more about the torpedo bats. It's just a story that's taken a life.
I'd love to know why it ever happened until now. I mean, I don't.
That
was
is
it the tradition of the game that they didn't want to?
That's the thing that's still perplexing
weird
to me.
And why did it take so long for it to come into play? I mean, it's not like somebody wasn't like, hey, you grew up playing wiffle ball when you couldn't hit, you used the big red bat. Remember? Remember the big red bopper we used to use when you couldn't hit balls with the yellow wiffle ball bat. Well, that's what it looks like to me. But it's with everything that they do with the analytics and this and that of your golf, of your golf swing and this and that, and they did it with baseball. They know the swing, that the lift form and the takeoff, and why was this not thought about before?
Yeah,
why was it taken till now? And I was thinking that guy it's going to make a ton of money, but then I'm going, how many guys outside of Major League Baseball use wooden bats? I don't know. Is it going to become all the rage in the Little League because Dad's seeing all these guys in the Yankees hitting home runs that, you know what, we're going back down to wood. We're going to use the oak. We're going to get some home runs out of these young kids. So,
it'll be a story that'll be followed closely.
Is Ohtani weren't using one?
I don't know that.
He's hitting a lot of homers.
I know they have 4 guys. I don't know.
The Phillies got the Dodgers this weekend,
Dodgers,
so we'll see.
Dodgers are not off to a bad start. This has not been a horrendous start for them.
They got Phillies this weekend, buddy. That's a heck of a series right there right now.
That is a heck of a series for.
Bills are finishing off here right now. They're up 2-0 in the top of the eighth. Going for the sweep of the Avalanche. We shall see, but that's a pretty big game this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be
series.
That'll be a fun one. The Pirates-Yankees, I don't think is going to be nearly as intriguing. Would love to see the beloved Bucks win a game in that 3-game series. And keep the home run total to 10 or fewer. Come on, Buccos.
What if they win tonight or tomorrow night? Do they play tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow late afternoon game is the first of the.
So the home opener
series is
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Skeens is not going to pitch in the home opener weekend at all.
Not in that. Yeah, correct. Not in any of the 3 games in the opening.
Well, he'll be pitching Monday, I heard.
I'm curious to see. We were talking about it on our morning show today. I've not heard anything, so I'm not necessarily expecting it. I know Livy Dunn is not competing tonight, but she will be in Rec Hall with her LSU teammates. They have the regional gymnastics championships. Penn State probably getting ready to wrap up their competition. They started at 1 this afternoon. I'll have to see if we can get an update on that. But was wondering if Paul Skeens might come up. Again, Livy's not competing, so maybe not, but he's an LSU grad. They have the day off. It is a pretty short trip from Pittsburgh to here and back. And
why is she not competing?
Thought it might be pretty cool injury, that knee injury she had. So that'd be neat if he did come in. He'd be I think inundated with autograph seekers and attention, and might not want that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd be able to just accommodate him, maybe separately somewhere down there on the floor or something. And again, with her not competing, I don't know, but he's LSU grad, might still come up to see her and spend a little time and watch her teammates. Who knows?
That'd be interesting.
It would be cool. I've not heard anything, by the way. We were just kind of speculating, surmising as we were or are wont to do on our particular little program. A couple notes with Penn State football, Goon. A couple of things with the spring practices and the ongoing discussion about the future of the blue-white game and spring games in general, and opportunities that are there, I think, for players and for fans, and ways to continue to promote the program, but maybe your overall athletic department as well. I am curious, both at Penn State and just generally, kind of what we see here over the next couple of years, because it feels like we're going to phase out the spring game as we know it, if you will. I don't think we're going to have the kind of live scrimmage format, not just here, but I just don't think.
Honestly, I have a pretty strong opinion of. Do you really think it's because the games were on television that other people could scout players?
I think that is probably a small part of it. I don't know that's and maybe it is. I will say I don't think you can underestimate the paranoia of
that's always there, yeah.
And basketball coaches,
the wrestling
maybe
like
coaches
that?
In general. I don't think anywhere near to the degree.
They're weirdos when it comes to that stuff, man.
Maybe there is. Yeah, just some of the stories over the year. The one with Joe Materno, which was just hilarious, but they had I think it was one of the, and he did not do this at all for a long while. And then Paterno did allow media in, I think it was just for one, in addition to the blue-white game, you were allowed in for one other preseason practice.
Yep.
You could watch, and actually, I think it might have been, they may have combined it because the late, great Pat Boland was the one that figured out, you can put in for a credential. They don't really check whether you're a high school football coach. So we would, when we were in college, we would go in and just, I mean, we weren't filming anything, but we were just observing with the coaches clinic practice that they would have. And it's like, it's
cool to watch.
Little notes, really cool to watch.
You're
so
going
I
to see
think
the
it might have
depth.
been they combined it with that. I might be wrong about that. But anyway, so he allowed the media in. And the rule was, I think it was the first 10 minutes or maybe 15 minutes of practice, you could film.
Yep.
But then they, made the announcement, all right, we're 15 minutes in or 10 minutes in, whatever it is, all cameras off. Like you can't be filming now. And everybody abided by it. Well, Paterno's at one end of the field, and we're now like a half hour into practice, and you start hearing him yell, and the high pitch, and he's and we're
flashbacks,
kind of looking around, and he's like pointing at a guy with a camera, and he's right under the goalpost, and he is clearly filming, and he is Paterno is running. I mean, and he's yelling at, you guys aren't allowed to do this.
Who was it?
And I will never forget.
Oh, Lord.
Fred Gatters, Joe. And Paterno's yelling at the guy, and come on, Joe, that's our guy. Like he is he is the football team's guy. And he's he's a student.
Scared.
Kid's like turning it off, and Fran's like, no, leave it on. You need to be filming this. And Joe, to his credit, like that, he realized what that happened and laughed. He's
but
like,
there is that.
Well, yes, and and there was a. This was at West Virginia, although it could have been. It just happened to be West Virginia. But this is going back like 30 years now. We had received permission to do our sports talk show at the time, afternoon sports talk show. We were doing the wrestling match that night at West Virginia, Penn State at West Virginia, and we had cleared with their athletic department, hey, can we set up in our broadcast location like 4 hours earlier? We did our local sports talk show 5 to 7. They're like, yeah, no problem. So we go down, get everything set up, and at about 4:50, I see the coach looking up, and he's pointing, and the guy comes up. He's like, you got to move. Like, we can't have you in here. I'm like, I will. You can put up a partition. Like, I have zero interest in watching the practice. Like, I'm going to be looking over notes. We're talking. Like, I will turn my back. Nope, they don't want you in here.
Insane, man. And the insecurities. It's true.
And I don't even think we played. I don't remember. I'm like, I'm the wrestling radio. Like, I'm not going to transfer any information to. I don't even remember if Penn State was even playing West Virginia. But anyway, so
Huggy Bear was mad.
They did do a great job. They found an office. So like, hey, so we scrambled and got in. I think we were on a couple minutes late, but well, I'm like, honestly, like, what is it you think?
Well, I got a couple stories
I'm
for
going
you.
to Garner. And yeah, I mean, there are tons of stories like that with.
Well, I got some really funny stuff. One is not
people
funny.
Just innocently walking by, even.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, like people like up visiting Penn State, and they're with like bringing their kids up and saying, hey, this is Penn State's where mom and dad went to school. Oh, the football team's in there, and they sneak through and take the old man's flipping out and going crazy.
Yeah.
The Velociraptor running across the field. One of them was one of the stories is Texas Tech my senior year. We had no film on Texas Tech from it, and then magically in the preseason they said, hey, this is their spring game. I'm like, how the hell did we get a spring football game from Texas Tech and stuff like that? But they were like trying to show us, but he's like, don't worry about how we got it, and there's always a way. So I'm always going to say, if somebody wants to watch a blue-white game or a Nebraska Big Red game, they can get it. Trust me. And the other one was in the Rose Bowl, we had on our strength staff a guy named Chris Testito, who was a West Point guy, Army Ranger, bad boy, but a tiny little guy. So he had been around, he had done some covert stuff from back in the day and all that stuff. So Buddy Sarah was the king of I'm absolutely, everybody's out to cheat and scare and steal from us. And if there's a helicopter above the field, it's Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden was hanging out of the window, filming practice. And then as players in general, we start playing into this. And I'm telling you that helicopter had a Florida State symbol on it. Talk about the Orange Bowl in 2005. And there he's going. Bill Kennedy's going crazy. We're at the Rose Bowl in then 94. And Buddy put the Steedo. Because we were at some Santa Clara, Barbara, one of the West Coast colleges, and there was a tree lined, and there was the fence was covered in, but somebody told Buddy that there was people in the trees looking at our practices, so he put the Steedo on it again. Who was an Army Ranger, bad man, So this guy's crawling around out there trying to find these people, in who are filming our practices for the Rose Bowl because it was Oregon people out there, and there was nobody there. We just had them all wound up, and we knew how to push the buttons and stuff like that. So, Buddy had the Steedo out there crawling around like he was like 15 minutes from going and buying a ghillie suit and running around like a sniper out in the tree line, like taking people out. But that's how crazy it gets. But there are paranoid coaches. And, you're talking about West Virginia. That was probably Bobby Huggins then, right? Huggy Bear?
Yes.
Yeah. He was about a fifth of scotch into it. He started seeing things and heard people talking about wrestling. He got all weirded out. So,
yeah, it does not take much to get the dander up of
and then to be honest with you.
Them, though, I mean, then you have, the Astros and the Patriots. Maybe
Michigan.
Yeah,
I mean they were going off campus and filming. That's the illegal thing. That's what I get. Again, I go back to a game day. No problem trying to steal the signs. It's part of the game. It's like that, cat and mouse type of thing that coaches do. But if you're going out, filming games in the away stadiums and stuff like that, and then deciphering the signs, and then that's taking it a little too far. Or the New England Patriots. Were they filming pre-practices and stuff like before Super Bowls and all that? Who knows? Who is ever going to know the answer to those questions? So, but there are reasons why coaches get a little weirded out. I mean, a little freaked out because there might be a little pressure on them to win the job, win the games and stuff like that. And that's the last thing you need is somebody cheating on you and all that stuff. So,
yeah, and the other part of it is, right? Everybody is. Not necessarily looking to cheat, but you're wanting to give your team an advantage. I mean, the torpedo bats. I mean, the Yankees I'm talking about. Yeah, we're trying to be as creative and find as many ways within the rules to give our team an advantage. And I've talked about it with Penn State Wrestling. The degree to which they are evaluating and monitoring. All right, this is the right amount of sleep to get. This is the right amount of protein. This is the right amount. This is how you want the training cycle to work. This is when you want to lift in relation to competition day. This is, all of this stuff. And Penn State is not alone. But they are you are looking, they're doing all of that to try to give their wrestlers the best opportunity to compete at their optimal level when it is most required, right? And that, if you talk to track and field athletes, they're looking, hey, can this one little movement here, can this shoe, we talk about it with golf. That's why, the PGA is constantly looking at, all right, well, this is, these clubs are allowed, these aren't, these balls are allowed, these aren't, because again, you're always looking, it's going to be, what, that ball travels, a foot further? Well, yeah. And, again, maybe that extra 2 pounds that you can lift in wrestling, maybe that's the difference in the third period when you're trying to hang on. You're looking for every little competitive edge.
No doubt about it.
Again, within the rules, hopefully. Some people maybe not even within the rules. But it's, again, if you're a competitor, you're trying to figure out a way to give yourself the advantage. We'll take a break here. When we come back, Guy Gadowsky, Penn State hockey coach, joins us. This is the Lion Country Kia, Goon and Ironhead.
There's only one dealer in Happy Valley that always goes to the mat to get you the best deals. It's Lion Country Kia.
How
Hi, this is Penn State wrestler Mitchell Messenbrink. Lion Country Kia has been serving Happy Valley for 15 years now. They helped me purchase my new Kia, and they would love to help you too.
Lion Country Kia is waiting for you with 85 vehicles in stock and ready to go. Choose from 13 2025 Kia Sportages and 16 2025 Kia Serenos with financing as low as 3.49% for 72 months or total savings of over $4,000. And of course, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Let us go to the mat to get you the best deals. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drybowl Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
And we are back here on a Thursday afternoon. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show, and this fine gentleman in the middle of us is none other than Penn State hockey coach Guy Gadowsky. Guy, thank you very much for taking the time. I know you've got a pretty busy schedule on the media front this week.
No problem. I love the show because they don't make me put a tooth in, so I'll do this every time.
That is exactly right.
Little lippy there, Guy.
Guy, talk a little bit about just how rewarding is this? This has obviously been a long time coming. I know it's the vision. I listened to a couple of your interviews this week. A lot of people, including you, that had this vision. Just how special is this to kind of see this coming to fruition and to have the opportunity to go play for a national championship here, hopefully a week from Saturday.
It is really special. I'm very happy for a lot of people, specifically when you talk about the vision. I certainly was invited to be along with it, and I agree with it, but it was Terry Pagula's vision, as well as Joe Batista, as well as the administration here that was in place. And they did so much work. Obviously, Terry meant everything, and certainly, obviously, the amount that he put up is he put his money where his mouth is, but he did it in a way so that that the hockey program was done right, that it was according to Penn State values, and that he really felt that in a short time, Penn State could be competing along with the monsters of college hockey in the Big Ten Conference, and he was exactly right. So to see, the program go to its first Frozen Four, it makes me very happy for, Terry Pagula, Joe Batista, the entire administration that was in place, and specifically for us is the players that came here. Everybody was telling them, like, yeah, Penn State's the best. It's so much fun. Like, of course, that's a great university, but you're going to get killed for 4 years. So I'm very grateful, and that's who I think of, those players that came here with a leap of faith. Yeah.
But you didn't get killed.
Well,
you were damn competitive right off the get. I remember the first game you beat Army.
Pretty quick. That game, yeah, pretty quick. But the Big Ten was a bit of awakening. But
bit.
I remember you get guys like Rick DeRosa that say, bring him on. And then finally, you beat them. And that's the attitude it took. So I hope we never lose that.
But, I don't think people talk about where did Pagula's love of hockey come from? We know he's a Scranton Coal Region guy.
Yeah.
I mean, where I mean, and we know he loves Penn State, but where did his vision of the hockey come from?
You know what? I know for sure that he loved the French Connection for the Buffalo Sabres. I know he loved them. He thought they were awesome. Yeah, that I know for sure.
Well, he's the only one outside of Buffalo then.
Yeah, he thought those guys were awesome.
Wow, okay. That because he was in Scranton, right? And did he move up to Buffalo? Where did the Buffalo thing come into him with from Scranton?
I don't know, but I do know he loved that line. That was the French Connection that he just loved. He thought that they were awesome, and I don't know if he had a chance to. There's some connection that they were his favorite. So he got a chance when he bought the team. I think the French Connection came out and surprised him on the ice. And I think that was what really got him.
That's amazing.
Cool.
You don't get that question asked often, do you?
No,
I don't know the answer. I mean, I figured maybe. I mean, the Buffalo thing was just because it was there to purchase. I mean, but with the Bills and the Sabres and stuff like that. But I don't know what the hockey love. I mean, it's not exactly a huge sport in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
No,
you know what I mean?
Well, no, but with his vision, it's getting there. To be
honest
with you, like now they're doing an unbelievable job.
The Pens are down there in Scranton, and So
and even youth hockey there is booming. Like everything that Terry wanted from this is happening right now.
Yep.
I mean, the youth hockey, the players are developing in this state and Center County region, and everything that he had a vision for seems to be happening.
How different is that right now, Guy, in Pennsylvania with youth hockey and even at the high school level now? Say just compared when you first got here, because it does seem like it is growing in terms of interest, but in terms of participation, pretty substantially here.
Yeah, the Pagula hockey staff, on the youth side, on the community side, has done an unbelievable job. And we went from, I know when we got here, there was maybe 3 youth teams, and the one that my sons were on had like 8 players. And I remember that first year that we finished, or the year before, they told me that they didn't win a game in the lowest division of Pennsylvania Youth Hockey Association, and it wasn't long till they won the championship in the highest level of it. So they really developed. But in that time, the staff at Pagula and at the time it was Greenberg too for a couple years, did an amazing job. And now I believe that the participation numbers have tenfold, just exploded, and to where it's hard to get more hockey now. So everything, like I said, everything Terry had his vision, it absolutely happened. And I do think a lot of that credit goes to the Pagula hockey staff has done a great job.
Yeah, well, I mean, you talk about your sons playing and growing up in the Center County area, but your son's doing pretty damn good for him in his own right now at West Point.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about puffing your chest out now for your Frozen Four, but I think you got a much prouder dad moment than any.
You know what they did. So Army hockey had a great year. This is actually Coach Riley's last year, and the team really pulled together for him. He's an amazing man.
Cool.
Yeah, he is the nicest coach in hockey for sure, and he's an amazing man. He really cares about these kids, and they worked extremely hard. They had a great year, and Mac became the first first ever Army hockey Hobie Baker top 10 finalist. So it's something that I'm really happy to see him do that at a time. And
he better be a good guy because he screwed his dad over to go play at Army instead of playing for you at Penn State. I mean, what the kind of recruit you doing over there, bud? Jeez.
Yeah, his sister overrode me.
But that is, as I said, a proud dad moment for you. And then I don't think people even know about that. But we got Alan over here, the producer of the show here, we call him. So he keeps me up on all of it. He keeps me abreast on all of this stuff. So that's awesome. I mean, there's no finer thing than going to West Point, any one of the academies. It's a great thing. And having the success he has, man, good for him, man. Good for you.
Thank you.
And your wife, obviously.
Thank you.
She did a great job raising the kids.
Someone must have.
Somebody's got to get the credit. Guy, we talk about it is one thing to be competitive, and Penn State has certainly been competitive. It is another to get to the Frozen Four and get that accomplishment. From a patient standpoint, how I know it's not, hey, yeah, let's just wait a while and then we'll crash through. But does the fact that this took a little while make it all the more rewarding to maybe understand the gravity of what this accomplishment is for a program that, again, started from scratch here when you came in?
I mean, it's an incredible accomplishment really for any program right now. You look at the teams, the unbelievable teams that are not going to the Frozen Four, everything from Boston College and North Dakota and Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota, you go down the line. Yep. So it's a great accomplishment anytime, but I think it's very special for the first, the first of any program to go to the Frozen Four is really special. And from this conference, it's hard. Like, it's really hard. People, like, we were dead last. We hadn't lost.
Yeah, your December proved that.
Yeah, we were dead last. We hadn't won a game in 9 starts in the Big Ten, but we played well. It's not like we played poorly. I'm telling you, we played really good hockey. It's just, this is an incredibly tough conference. So to make it to the Frozen Four, look, you need a lot. You need a great team. And you need some luck. And you know what really helps? An unbelievable goalie. That helps too.
It was okay.
How about it? I want to get to that in a moment, but I do want to go back to the start. And we talked to producer Alan, and I talked to Brian Tripp, and and they both are like, it's a young team, but they are really talented. And I don't know that anybody necessarily saw Frozen Four coming this season, but they were saying, like, this team could be really special. Maybe not this year. Like, I think some things will come together this year, but look out, the makings are there. Did you see what happened here this year happening the way it did from January on?
No, but something happened that we didn't want or expect was that our goaltender, Arseny Sergeyev, got hurt, a significant injury. Yep. He was out for a couple months. And in that time, a very special guy named John Seifarth, who came to the highest hockey he had played before this was high school in Pennsylvania. And he never played junior hockey. He didn't even bring his equipment to Penn State. And he saw that they had a club team. It was like, hey, is it possible to play? They said, well, go try out. And he happened to be such a good guy and a really hard worker, actually really an excellent athlete too. But the team was like, this guy works his butt off. We'd love to have him. So he came as a third goalie. Anyway, he ended up starting a number of games for us. And the team really rallied around him, and I think that really escalated or really enhanced the development that you talked about, because now you had a bunch of young talented freshmen that were okay being young talented freshmen to all of a sudden, oh no, like, we got to be really responsible, we got to do it for this guy, like, we really have to pull together. And that's what I think that really accelerated the development.
I mean, that was the oddest thing, not the oddest thing, but the similarities between Penn State and UConn. And that, watching that game last week, and that they had a very similar, move to Division I, correct? They had a family come in and put some money up and this and that. So they were showing their arena before, and then their current arena. I'm like, that's Greenberg, and that's Pegula, because that's exactly what was going on. And then the fact that Sergeyev played at UConn, and my friend Chris out here, we were watching the game together, and I was like, that could be a double-edged sword, like. He may know how to play against those guys, but they sure as know how to play against him.
It's true. And I also think about the emotions, though, to manage during the game. Like, I give him a lot of
credit.
Now,
why did he leave? Was it just like, he wanted to move on, or was it?
You know what? I
know you're not dropping major NIL money, right?
No. It has nothing to do with that. His NHL team wanted to make sure that he had the opportunity to play more games. That's what it was. It was really, and they had a couple really good goalies, and our Cine and the NHL team wanted him to go somewhere where he could make sure that he got a lot of games in, and that was the reason.
Wow, man.
Geez, I mean, we are so lucky because he's just such a cool guy.
Is he?
Oh, he's the coolest.
Well,
guy.
I mean, you're also his B word, if you know what I mean. After what I saw him do to you Friday night, and on Sunday was even worse. Yeah, I mean, is there charges is there pending or anything like that? I mean,
when he's not headbutting me, he's a really nice guy.
I mean, was that a planned thing?
No,
because I'm not lying to you. I swear to God, I'm not trying to big time it, but I swear to God, the opening play of the Rose Bowl, Corey Carlson runs down on kickoff, smashes through the wedge. He busts his head up. He's coming off the field with a busted up nose, bleeding out. I'm like all kinds of jacked up. Way to set the tone. I drop a headbutt. I'm like, geez, I don't have my helmet on. Holy God. And I was like doozy for a hot second. And I was like, I got a game to play here, dude. And I was like, holy crap. And I was just into that game, but you took it. It wasn't your first hit.
No, it wasn't. But it was. I should have known. I didn't have my helmet on either. But we went in. I was going in for a hug, and he sort of hit. And I said,
okay, in between handshake, fist bump. It was that little in between awkwardness.
Yeah, I went for the headbutt.
Those were big moments. I presume the equipment manager is ready, and you will have a helmet for the last minute or so of the third period for these next two games.
Well, I opted for the hug on Sunday night, thinking it'd be a lot safer.
Yeah, but you jumped into it like it was Dirty Dancing, guy.
I did.
You had the legs up. You jumped around. I mean,
I went for the very respectful hug, and he lifted me up. I had no choice.
Yeah. And I heard, and I had the time of my life, and I never. And you're like, at least, but then you went down.
Yeah.
You got to wear a helmet, and you got to wear some kind of protective suit next time to keep you off the ice. I mean, that's a nice suit. And again, I got to give it to you, hockey guys. The lettuce is great, but you guys the gear game is so legit.
Yeah,
you guys know how to dress. Coach and staff, players, all that stuff.
Thanks.
Always have.
That's really all I do.
It's true. I'm not going to lie to you, dude. Between you and David Taylor, you broke some ribs in the last 2 weekends. David Taylor, the wrestler, coach at Oklahoma State. Did you watch it all wrestling?
I did.
Well, in the background, when his heavyweight was the biggest upset in a long time in wrestling, he's just hammering his assistant coach's ribs, and they're just like, and they're both doing this, and I'm watching you on Friday and Sunday, and I'm like, your assistant coaches are going to start running away from you because every time there's a big play, you're like, and they're like, Jesus God, it's a hazard pay over here, man. No, but and then the guys on the team, you could tell that they love him, and you love them, and it was. So I was told to ask, and I mean, I should know this. The Roar Zone.
Oh man,
we gotta know about the love story between you guys, the team, and the Roar Zone. I got some fans here who were at the last game, and they said that was probably one of the coolest things they've ever seen done. Is you calling out the seniors in the Roar Zone and stuff like that.
No, it's a love affair, but it's more than that. They are such a part of our success.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, like look, this is a tough conference. Like you have to fight for every little edge you get. And our edge is the Roar Zone. Like when you play at Pagula and they get it rolling, like it's a snowball coming down a hill. It really is. And we ride that wave. I can't tell you how many times have we thought like after we get in the locker room, we've had a win and the coach is looking around going, geez, did we need them tonight? Like we couldn't generate any momentum or tempo and they jumped in and we rode their wave. And it happens all the time. So to have that in Allentown was amazing because I didn't know they would all be there. I don't think the guys knew they would all be there. And they show up.
They walked down. They were like,
yeah, like, you know what? I don't know if our team actually thought we would do it until they saw them. And I think they were all like, oh, my God, we got a shot.
Yeah. So speaking of the momentum that was built up and stuff like that, I love my hockey. I've loved my hockey for a long time. But, man, that was a tough third period. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But the goalie and the heart of those guys, and again, they may be getting that love from the Roar Zone.
Yeah,
I mean, they were skating in sand out there at times, and the first 2 periods, you should have been up 3 goals. They should have been a tie game with the way the third period went.
okay, we were getting crushed. No doubt about it. We were getting
They were
crushed.
big.
But then
They were
we
big.
just, I don't know. I don't know why, but we couldn't skate. They were just killing us. But then, if you remember, there was a timeout, and the roar zone started singing, and then you could see everybody just sort of reach up and go. Like, and when we got bigger, and then they tried to do the Michigan around the net, and actually our guy just planted them, and then we got our legs back.
There's the guy who made the hit as a freshman, right?
Nick Frash. He's unbelievable.
Did he see who shared that on Twitter? Chris Pronger.
No,
Chris
really?
Pronger said, "This is how it's done."
No, really?
Absolutely.
Right?
I can't wait to tell him that.
I was like, damn, we got Pronger. That's a high compliment right there coming from him on that hit.
I cannot wait.
Well, that hit was awesome. That, and you know as well as anybody that's a momentum changing thing right there.
It was we're saying like that hit could have won. That hit probably won us the game because we just didn't have energy, and then that happened, and the guys were like, "Oh man!"
But the energy. I mean, I was talking me and Chris were watching the game, and I'm like, dude, these guys have been going, foot on the gas hard, and you had to.
We had to, yeah.
Had to the last month and a half, and it's like they're gonna run out of gas sometime, And then you watch that. I mean, I love the game. I'm watching that first goalie stop in the first period, and you guys are standing around them, and all the UConn guys just come around and they start trying to bash you guys. And I'm like, they're going to try and big time and bully us here because again, they were a bigger team, man. They were a big team, and they were trying to
talk about college hockey. They had two 26-year-olds on the team.
Well, it's like watching the college basketball. I mean, Auburn has their basketball. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Ironhead does the wrestling. I mean, Gable Stevenson, he's got 2 kids in college right now, and he's still wrestling heavyweight for Minnesota. It's unbelievable. No, but I mean,
first father-son combo.
Exactly. They shared the Hodge, but yeah, but that's not uncommon for hockey, right?
No, it is.
I mean, you got our boy Pilowitz's kid out there. He was 34. I mean, he had played like how many different levels, and I mean, that's because I'm trying to explain. And me and Ironhead always butt heads here a little bit because I think in the football way, and that's like you got 5 years to do 4 years, but like hockey's different, man. Canadian kids are leaving the house at 15.
Yeah,
and then they're going away, and then they can play juniors, and then they go.
Yeah, they come into college very
21, 22 years old.
Yeah. But speaking, you talk about our energy and what it took for us to reach this level. Like Adam Pilowitz is the perfect example of it. Like the perfect example of it. He won the Culture Award. He's a guy that gives everything in the team, but he's tough. He's tough. He's tough mentally, but he's tough physically. And it's those type of guys that's how we win it here. Like that's how we do it.
Sure, man. That's the MO.
Yeah. There were so many impressive things about what your team did to get to the Frozen Four, the run through that second half. You talk about the roar zone and the energy there. That series at Michigan State, Guy, take me through that a little bit. And just, I know your team wasn't lacking for confidence going into that weekend. I know they could have lost one of those games and the confidence would still be there. But, I mean, that has to be next level confidence. You're going into East Lansing, and you're walking out of there with 2 W's, and the way you won those games. How significant was that 2-game stretch?
Well, it was significant because at the time I think they were number 1 in the nation at the time, and playing at home, and so we're on the road, and we're starting to get a feel. But really, I think there's a perception. Oh, okay, well now they're going to get killed. They're Michigan State, and the guys they're tough. Michigan State's they're really, really good. And they're really, really tough. I have great respect for how they do things. I do. They're a tough team. And our guys just they play tough too, really tough. And I think at the time it was senior night for them. So their crowd was rocking, and it was we were walking into a
I remember watching that going on Sunday, and they said, "Oh, it's senior night here at Michigan State." And I'm oh God, this is not going to be a good one.
Yeah.
This might be a bad one. I mean, no one loses on senior night.
No, and the guys came out
and then they give up a quick 3 goals.
I mean, everybody.
Enjoy your senior night.
No, everybody is expecting them to come out and set the tone early, and it was just the opposite. I mean, it was amazing to watch. It really was.
Yeah, it was amazing to be a part of, because I think there was a little bit of, after that happened, there was a little bit of, hey, we're for real.
Yeah. And then you had to play the number 1 team again the next week.
That's right, and we beat them again.
And then they rotated it through again, and they bought Maine at you, and they were top 3. It's like, put the numbers in front of somebody, you're going to be good.
Yeah, I think our Cine, I don't think he minds that.
Yeah.
The bigger the team, I think the better it is for him.
Is it okay to mention his NHL team?
Sure, yeah, he's drafted by the Calgary Flames,
oh,
and
nice.
I'm sure he's going to be a great part
Who
of their
would want to go to
organization
Western
at some
Canada,
point. Well, not the South. The North would be much better. But
what is it that makes Sergeyev so special? And just talk about
couple
third
things. Yeah,
period
so
and
I'd be
overtime
happy
he had
to look
there,
like
'cause-
so he's a really good goalie, great goalie. Like, look, there's that for sure, but that's not what makes him special. He's special because he's the most lovable teammate you will ever meet, and the reason he is.
As a goalie, as usual.
Oh, he's a
or-
goalie.
Yeah,
he's a
just weird
goalie
as hell.
for sure.
Yeah.
He's weird, but he's so funny. And the thing about him, like, he just loves to compete. Like, he loves it, whether it's juggling or ping pong or darts or he just loves it. And the guys love giving it to him, and he gives it to the guys. Like, he automatically just was loved in the locker room.
Yeah.
And the thing about him, he's tough. Like, he's really tough. He's a tough guy.
Yeah.
And he welcomes it. So the guys love him. Like, he just fits so well, and I don't know.
So
It
give
was
me
just cool.
the people out there who, again, they might be football, basketball players,
Sure.
and understanding what was his route.
Yeah, so when he
I
came,
mean, how
from
old is he?
Russia,
He's
yeah,
from obviously he's Russian.
from Russia, and he came over. He played in the North American League. So George Lewis, our video coach, director of ops and analytics team. George does everything, by the way. He actually coached against him in the North American League. And they had George has a great team, probably best team in the entire league, and he was beat by this guy. I think he played at the time. Shreveport was it? I believe he played for Shreveport, and he was awesome. And George said, we got a great team, but we just got beat by this big Russian goalie. And then George went to the USHL with Lincoln, and then Arsini ended up going to the USHL against Tri-Cities. And then that playoffs, they had to play again, and again Arsini beat him. And he's like, I'm so sick of this guy.
I didn't know my
so
team.
good, and he's so and he said the thing about him, you go near him, and this guy is, they're trying to get in his grill and sort of get him off his game, and Arsini is just bodying them. Like he's just a tough guy, and so George was like, I tell you what, he's a very, very good goalie, but I tell you what, he's going to fit us. George was like, I get this guy. Like, he's going to fit us. He's so tough. He'll fit in our locker room so well. And he was 100% right.
And now, what's his age? I mean, is he like one of those older kids, or is he just going?
I think
21, 22, yeah, okay.
Something like that. Yeah,
but he's not like one of those super guys that we had talked about. So,
no.
What do you think? The transformation from Russia to Shreveport?
Yeah,
was that like
to Tri-Cities,
or was that Alberta to Oklahoma?
That would be like,
I didn't know the Oklahoma thing until I saw it in Buchagras's interview the other day.
Yeah,
and I was like, "What the hell is he doing in Oklahoma?"
Yeah, I've been through a few of them.
I know the Alaska thing, and I was like, "That's as far as he goes." And then he said Oklahoma, and I was like,
"Yeah,
what are you doing there now?"
Yeah. So, hey, you know what?
Russia to Shreveport, Louisiana,
to Kearney, Nebraska. And then to where is Storrs, Connecticut?
Yep.
Is it where it is? Storrs, Connecticut. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very similar. That's a very
and then and obviously he's here. He's like, oh my God, this
what
is
is up?
like this
Why
is paradise.
why the Russian goalies and French Canadian goalies?
I don't know.
In the hell?
I was looking at. I don't know. And we're gonna face another one on Thursday night. I think they have a Russian goalie. Yeah.
Oof,
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, crazy. Well, I got a Denver story for you.
What's that?
I'm on my freaking honeymoon 11 years ago. A guy from Louisiana who went to LSU. They were in Denver, like they're from Denver. They were down there for a wedding. So there was like me and my wife, me and Carrie, hanging around. These like 20, 30 people. They were down there for a destination wedding. So we all became friends. The married couple were from the Boston area, so they all loved hockey. So we were all just talking hockey. And one guy from Louisiana. I'm a huge Denver. I mean, he's like talking about he's a Denver hockey fan. I know you live there, but you're from LSU. How in the hell did you freaking ever turn into a hockey fan? So you guys lost him a couple years ago, right?
We did.
It cost me a couple $100, by the way, buddy.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
They went on to win the national.
I know what they did because I actually tried to double down on the national title. Damn it! Yeah, so I tried to win the money back, but no, and you know me. I love talking hockey, brother, and I love watching what you guys are doing out there, and that's the bottom line. I mean, guess what's fun? Winning.
It is fun.
It's just
fun. It is fun, and especially with this group because they're such a cool group of guys, and they've been not forced to, but they've faced the challenge of making sure they stick together.
Yep.
And when that happened, they're so fun to be around now.
Now, I gotta know. I'm sorry, Jeff. Did you know that the fans were there at Pagula Sunday night?
No.
That's pretty cool, man.
And we come in, and
that's really
I
cool.
could not, how great was that?
Yeah, it's
like Penn State fans. Like you hear this all the time. Penn State fans are the greatest fans. They are the greatest fans, and this is the best student body in the history of universities. It has to be. And we get in. It was around 12:30, 12:25, something like that. And we roll in, and there's like hundreds of students waiting and dancing. It was unreal.
You're like, whoa.
It was incredible. And John Seifarth walks off the bus with the trophy, and they go nuts. So it was awesome.
Yeah,
right.
that is spectacular.
Yeah.
You reserve that for the football program, you think, but as a hockey player, you're like,
unreal.
never. And then you look outside, you're like, holy crap, man.
Unreal.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
You talk about the energy. A couple of questions on the energy front. One, how do you handle that? That was about as physical a game as I could imagine a college hockey game being with UConn. How are you handling? How important is the time off, and how are you handling this week and a half in preparing for the pros?
The time off, I mean, we're welcoming that right now because we do have some pretty significant injuries. I'm sure everybody does, but it's certainly, we're not at all disappointed to have it. And as far as the physicality goes, like we've got guys that really like that. Like we have guys that like that.
Yeah.
And you got Dane Dowiak is as tough a physical person. Like he likes that. He hopes for games like that. Keaton Peters is the same.
Yeah.
Like Nick DeGraves loves that. Carson Dick, they love that stuff. You see what Nick Fascia did. You think he doesn't like that? Kate Chris, like we have a bunch of guys that really like that. Charlie Sciarotto's been playing really well offensively. He loves that stuff. So we have, our guys like that. You can't coach someone to play in it. Yeah. Like this is how you play it. But you have guys that like it.
You don't play it when you're growing up. You don't get into a super physical game.
Well, you either I think you either like it or you don't. Like you can't coach someone to like it. We just have guys that like it.
And talk about the energy that DeMarco brought. Obviously, the goal was special, and Serrato's pass, if you want to talk about that, was pretty brilliant. But you talk about a guy that was bringing the energy throughout that game. I mean, DeMarco was just flying from start to finish.
And he has been since December. And I mean, trust me, the only guy not happy with him is our equipment manager because those sticks, those are like $250. But anyway.
I can understand.
Do we know who caught it?
I have no idea.
Because his interview was like, I hope it's worth some money to somebody. Because that was awesome because I was like, damn, I didn't catch the stick throwing until the replay.
Yeah.
And I believe him. Like it wasn't anything right. It's just he did it. But I tell you what, that guy has been getting more chances on net than anybody on our team.
He's making them. He's making them.
He is now. But
his forechecking and then getting into a shot is so unbelievable. I'm like, how's he doing that quick?
He creates chances all the time. But in the past, they weren't going in. I mean, he literally, that's saying something. When you have a team that has Aiden Fink on it, and you say that someone else is creating more chances than him, that's saying something. And now they're just starting to go in, and it's just fun to watch. That whole line, you look at the goal that J.J. Weiswick scored in Michigan to win it in overtime. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, they're doing fantastic things. It's fun to watch.
We have just a couple minutes left. I just talk about the matchup here with Boston and maybe just from your vantage point, a couple of keys here for your team to get to that championship game.
Well, I mean, they're a team that's obviously they're not going to be intimidated by the stage. They've been there many times.
Yeah.
They understand that they're going to be comfortable, and that's fine. And they're also a very skilled team. However, that's something we've been facing in Big Ten Conference night after night after night. So it's nothing that we're going to be unused to, but we know what's coming. We certainly are going to be prepared for it, but it's not like we're going in there going, oh, we're better at this, we're better at that, we're better than this. Like, they are a very, very, very good hockey team. But this is the Frozen Four.
And they've been there, though.
And they've been there. That's one thing. But I tell you what, this is the Frozen Four. You're going to be facing a very good team, and you're going to be facing a very hot team. There's no one that's here that isn't very good or hot.
I saw the analogy of the St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup a couple of years ago to this team.
How was that?
When they were dog dirt, and they made the trade, and then the change to Berube.
Yes.
And they started getting together, and they came together as a team. It started in the locker room, and it just carried over. So the similarities of you walking down College Ave, hopefully with an NCAA trophy in a couple of weeks, would be freaking awesome, buddy.
Yeah, I remember they had a pretty good win song too, right?
Gloria. Yeah, I forget
Wasn't it. Gloria?
It was one of them old school songs.
It was good. Yeah.
And
right?
you'll be winning it at the Blues Arena. So even
that's where it comes from, and that's what I was like. Well,
Yeah, that's good.
I had to get my boy
You're right.
Marubi's name in there. That's the only reason I said
Yeah,
it. Just to
he
say Craig
deserved
Marubi's
it, though.
freaking name, brother.
Just had to do it.
Talk
Oh,
about
man.
old-time hockey.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Toe Blake,
Thank you for the time.
Thank you. I
Best
appreciate
love it,
luck.
baby.
Looking
Good luck,
forward
guy.
to
Thank you
it.
very much.
Old-time
I
hockey,
appreciate
baby.
We will be back on Tuesday. Yes, guy getting a good hand here. We'll be back on Tuesday. Until then, be good and be safe.
There's only one dealer in Happy Valley that always goes to the mat to get you the best deals. It's Lion Country Kia.
Hi, this is Penn State wrestler Mitchell Messenbrink. Lion Country Kia has been serving Happy Valley for 15 years now. They helped me purchase my new Kia, and they would love to help you too.
Lion Country Kia is waiting for you with 85 vehicles in stock and ready to go. Choose from 13 2025 Kia Sportages and 16 2025 Kia Serenos with financing as low as 3.49% for 72 months or total savings of over $4,000. And of course, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Let us go to the mat to get you the best deals. Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drybowl Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.